The All Dress Podcast with Conor McKenna, Eric Macramella, and Sean Starr starts now.
Tom Cruise here.
All right.
Like a Maverick.
I'm in Vegas mode. This is what I'd be looking like after a big night in Vegas. Feel like I have a big night last night. Stayed up very late. I slept only 4 hours.
This look is killing me. You look like a poker DJ. I love it.
I'm rehydrating. Welcome back to a new episode of the show.
Like a young Nicolas Cage. I love it.
I think it's episode 26. Although
wow.
Eric's posting the wrong episode numbers, Sean's posting the wrong links. I don't know what's going on Twitter these days. We're happy that you're with us after the Canadiens Game 2 win on the Strip in Vegas. It's all dressed. Conor, Eric, Sean, hello everybody. And of course, behind these, I'm wearing sunglasses for the record. For those of you who are just listening to the audio version, if I take them off,
oh boy,
I do not have those Jeff Petrie eyes
that
went viral last night, looking like the mountain who rides from Game of Thrones, Sir Robert Strong. Remember that guy?
Yeah, who farted on his pillows?
Crushed that guy's skull. What?
Who farted on Petrie's pillows that gave him pink eye?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good knocked up reference from a while back.
Yeah.
Lots of explanations. Whatever, it worked. He's not at 100%, but he's rocking. The Canadiens tie the series up. It's going to be great. Isn't it going to be great in Montreal this weekend? That's what they needed. The buzz. There was a buzz already. Now there's going to be a real one. You can't deny it. This is as close as they've been, you guys. I think this is as close as they've been. This is the closest I've felt them since 1993. That's first things first. We can get to the ticket prices and what that means here. But 2014, Carey Price was out by now with a knee injury. They'd already lost game one. I don't even remember what happened in game two, but the series ended when Price went out. 2011, the bubble was in the process of bursting against the Flyers after 2 games. Right now, 2 games in against Vegas, it hasn't felt this good, this late for the Canadiens, for my money, since 1993. Agree or disagree?
Oh, you know what? I mean, the Canadiens have an opportunity here to do something in this series. Game 2 was absolutely essential for this team. They made the adjustment again, like they did against the Leafs in Game 5. They clogged up the neutral zone, and they made it more difficult on Vegas to gain some speed in the neutral zone, and their D were pitching it on offense. It was a good game. Still, Vegas looked more dangerous than the Canadiens on the whole, but we're looking at something here, Sean, that potentially here can be something pretty special.
Yeah, these 93 vibes are legitimate. And, you know, when you go back through game one, you listen to the post-game reaction from some of the guys on the Canadiens, and they're like, yeah, we did this well, we did that well. You know, we could have been better here. We need to score early. What do? Carbon copy the first period from game 1 into game 2, and they score early, right? So they knew where they went wrong. They knew where their level of frustrations were in game 1 that resulted in a loss. They addressed some of those situations. We'll get into some areas, Conor, that they haven't fixed yet, icings and faceoffs and whatnot. But they kept that momentum in terms of their adrenaline going from game 1 and scored early and got to Marc-Andre Fleury. And as guys on the Knights have said, even though this series is only 2 games old, the Canadiens are a completely different team when they play with the lead, and you saw that. So there is this legitimacy to them being 3 wins away from a Stanley Cup Finals berth, and this is Carey Price's best, deepest playoff run of his career. He had 8 playoff wins in that year, Conor, where he went down after Kreider crashed into him. He had 8 playoff wins that year. That was his 9th win yesterday, and this guy, man, is so dialed in. It's amazing to see where he's at. If we go back to Bob Gainey, cool as a cucumber, this is the version that Bob Gainey promised Habs fans.
Eric, is this the part where you bust in and tell us what a nice guy Chris Kreider is?
I love that guy. I'm a Kreider.
Is this because on your Smash Hit morning show, I talked about how nice a man Chara is? I think that's why you're raising it. Chara will always be a lovely human being. I said it on the show this morning. that this guy was signing a bunch of autographs for me, going way out of his way, and the entire time was thanking me for doing it. He's a gentle soul, except when he plays hockey, at which point he will beat the crap out of you. By the way, I did get pink eye when I had my first son. His urine made it somehow into my eyes. So I can forgive Jeff Petrie if that is indeed pink eye, but it's not, but still. But you know what, guys? Watching last night's game, one player stood out to me that maybe it wasn't so obvious. And that was Kotkaniemi. He didn't show up on the score sheet, but he played heavy. He made his physical presence felt. And again, while he didn't show up on the score sheet, I was really impressed by the way in which he played this game. He played a physical game and he was effective. And I got to say, man, it can't be easy playing with Josh Anderson. He's a north-south player, kind of out on his own there. He's not someone who's a terribly thoughtful or intellectual player. I spoke to a friend of mine, a former NHL hockey player last night, who's now a scout for a team that is not in the Final Four. And I just said, he's kind of a one-dimensional player. He's kind of a one-trick pony. And he's like, absolutely. That's kind of the book on Josh Anderson. So KK, not easy playing with a guy like that, I think.
Well, I thought that line played well.
Yeah.
Right? Josh Anderson beat a couple of defensemen. He went to Marc-Andre Fleury's crease in game 2. That was more of the guy we spoke about in our podcast after the loss in game 1. And that's a tough line to play against. You have speed with Paul Byron. You have Kotkaniemi, who can get a little physical when you get under his skin, and you get that version of Kotkaniemi, the nasty version, the confrontational in-your-face guy when you get in this guy's kitchen. And I think that could rub off a little bit maybe on Josh Anderson. They're finding their groove. That fourth line with Corey Perry and Joya Armia and Eric Stahl is, again, it's a testament to the depth that this organization, Conor was talking about so much during the course of this season. And now it's, obviously paying dividends as the series shifts to Montreal on Friday.
Very exciting. The series shifting to Montreal on Friday, and we can get to the X's and O's, but let's talk a little bit about what this means. It's interesting to me. And maybe I was wrong about this, but I didn't even really think about ticket prices during the Winnipeg series. Maybe it's because we weren't worried about Jets fans coming in and buying up all the tickets and taking over the Bell Center the way we were worried about them doing it in the Toronto series. Not that it ended up happening. But now we're talking ticket prices again and looking at what the numbers are. I'm always wary of this, you guys. Like, the headline will be, and I'm guilty of this, the headline will be what people are asking for tickets. And what people are asking right now, the lowest price on StubHub live right now, section 324, that would be not a very good seat. I mean, it's literally in the corner and in the upper deck, $946 each.
Canadian, right?
That's right. So $1,900. That's the low end. So $2,000 for a pair of the worst seats available.
Wow,
And
wow.
Well, you know what? I was thinking of getting you guys those tickets. I was thinking about it, but then I realized you guys don't want to be sitting in the corner.
Thank you for being so considerate. And the highest I see is right now $6,500 each. That's 119 red row V. So pretty high up in the reds, behind the net, directly behind the net. The Canadians attack twice, and V would put you pretty close to the back of that section. And that is, $6,600. So about $13,000 for a pair of tickets right there. Eric, I know you've got thoughts as the only person who could afford to pay any of these prices here. What are your thoughts?
It's always about value, right? And when you have a lot of money like I do, I think I have $200 in my shoe right now, my left shoe. You still focus on value. And, I get the idea that there are some people that just want to attend a public event because for them it's cleansing, it's cathartic, it's symbolic, it's a lot of different things, but it's a lot of money for an event like that. And with 3,500 seats, my preference would have been the NHL set aside all of those tickets for healthcare workers and frontline workers. That would have been the right thing to do. You could say, well, it's a business. I'm sorry. This doesn't move the bottom line on the Montreal Canadiens business. All right. If you're selling $3,500 seats at whatever the face value is, that's not going to move the revenue needle. But what does move the public perception needle and the optics needle is donating all of those tickets to people that have saved so many lives and have worked incredibly tirelessly over the past whatever it is, 16 or 18 months. So I look at that, Shaun, and it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
I understand that point of view, and it's very hard to argue that without coming across like a douchebag. The Canadians have honored frontline health workers from the jump. You know, they've had them in loges, they've had them in the seats when they were allowed a couple of people there. So while they haven't been giving the tickets away in the thousands, they have been honoring and paying tribute to some of the most important people in our society since March of 2020. So part of me can give them a little bit of a pass. And there's the other side of me, like, you know, the law of supply and demand, right? The true cost of something is what another person is willing to pay for it. And in this instance, I have no issue with a lucky lottery winner that happens to be a season ticket holder. And he's been sitting there, or she's been sitting there with these season tickets, not being able to go to a game. They've been waiting. And now they win the lottery and they have a chance to go to a game or maybe flip the tickets. I have no problem with that, especially so when I consider the fact that it's not going, as Conor said, to a fat pig in Toronto or something like that. Like, no one from Vegas is coming here to buy tickets and spending gobs amounts of money to scoop those tickets up. That's just not allowed. So if all three of us are happy to be living in Montreal and I win the lottery and Eric has mucho bucks, and he decides, you know what, Shaun, I'll give you 4x to what you paid for it, then good on you, man. I'll sell the tickets to you, no problem, because I know it's going to go to someone here, as opposed to the whole Toronto fiasco. So I don't mind it. It's a way to make money for a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the world we live in.
Yeah,
it would be cool, sure. You know, it'd be great if a bunch of sick children who aren't going to live to see 2022 and who've always dreamed of going to a hockey game could go. Ultimately, that's not what's going to happen. I could come up with all kinds of scenarios like that if you'd like. I'm really good at it. But it's very dark. Beautiful day, though. Beautiful. Woo!
Yeah.
Eric's in Ottawa. We're in Montreal, and it feels good right now. Jeff Petrie's eyes, what are we calling this? Ooh. It's pink eye, but a pink eye hemorrhage?
Right. Like, I read online that it's like extreme pink eye based on the definition of what his wife shared on Instagram, like the clinical diagnosis.
Wait, have any of you ever done this? Rick Moffat did it to his eye years ago when we were working together. It's like, it's the sort of, it can happen if you're like, I've heard it can happen to you if you're like blowing your nose. It's just like, all of a sudden something sort of hits the wrong way. It can happen if you're taking a dump. It can happen if you're, what else? Shaun, any other examples?
Sneezing, blowing your nose.
Sneezing,
pooping.
blowing your nose.
Yeah, so it's all that, the pressure, yeah.
If you're watching John Merrill play defense.
Oh, that's terrible. How terrible.
Eric with the gratuitous shot at John Merrill.
You know, look, I get the idea of having John Merrill in the lineup. It's a big body who can block some shots, but the expected goals against was by far the worst with Merrill, and he visibly he made a lot of errors yesterday, and so I just would like to see that addressed if possible. I get depth is an issue, and I get Romanov turns the puck over. I understand that. It's just it's tough to watch, guys. It's tough to watch.
Eric, you're like closer to the camera than you normally are. I don't know if
I appreciate that.
No one appreciates that.
So yeah, but you know,
I can't believe I actually have kids. Actually, someone had sex with me. This is amazing.
Twice.
I like how you said that at the same time.
Jinx.
It's like you guys have done the math on your own.
Look at it. 8 years together. This was our first one, and we did it on a podcast. Christ.
Yeah, that's gold. All 89 viewers are gonna hear it. Okay, so. But yeah, you know what you get when you see a team on a playoff run, you get stuff like this. And the Jeff Petrie eyes are a thing, and Carey Price's smile after he gave that puck away and almost gave up the game-tying goal.
What about Corey Perry's long stare, like romantic eyeing of Carey Price, like, I love you, Carey.
Marc Bergevin's red suits, all this stuff. It's really fun. It is,
isn't it? It is. This has been a lot of fun. And this is what I've been saying about this series and halfway through the Leafs series, when I just realized this is for fun. Let's have a really good time. It is. The Canes are kind of playing a bit with house money, although I think now we all want them to win this series. We'll be disappointed if they don't. But this has been a tremendous amount of fun at a time where fun is in short supply. And I've had an absolute blast watching these games with my kids, watching them alone. It's really been this wonderful relief valve.
Yeah, and there's part of me like I hear what you're saying about what happens, right, if the Canadians lose this series, and but you can admit though, like if they don't win another game, hypothetically speaking, if they don't win another game, there's gonna be a small part of your being that's gonna be disappointed, right, that they lost this series if they don't win again.
Absolutely.
Like I get it's le bon esprit, everyone's having a good time, it's good for business, it's good for so many different areas of fanboyism here in Montreal. But if they don't win another game, I'll admit I'll have a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Come on, I'm a buyer. I'm a total buyer. Come on.
I'm going to be pretty close to not being upset if they don't win another game. I don't know. I can't say for sure. You don't know how you're going to feel.
Yeah.
But I feel very house money-ish. That was great last night. I'm excited that there's going to be games where I'm not going to be stressed out about what time it is. Honestly, I know it's like, I don't even think people want to hear this, but it sucks. It sucks when you're a morning radio person and you got to watch a playoff series that starts at 9:15. It is hot poo-poo.
Yeah.
From my perspective.
And I feel, honest to God, even though I said it on the show this morning, like guilt-free, I am a fan. I am a fan, and it just to piggyback, like it sucks. It sucks that conference finals team is playing well. In my eyes, they're extremely legitimate for where they are this deep into playoffs, and like we get up at an unreasonable hour of the day, and I get it. It's just one guy on the East Coast. And I'll get over it because Friday's at 8 and Sunday's at 8 and we'll be okay. And then I'll see you in the Stanley Cup final when they play the New York Islanders at 8 o'clock every single day.
Well, Shaun, it is tough working or waking up early night. When I would fill in the morning show here, I mean, I didn't sleep because I was afraid I wouldn't wake up. But once you have two kids and they're young and and my kids wake up like 5:30 or 6, and during the playoffs they're in my room at like 5:45. Daddy can watch the highlights. It's also kind of exhausting. So I would also appreciate the earlier games. The other thing I'll say is this about this series as a whole. The best way I can I can characterize how I feel about this is that I'm crossing my fingers, but I'm not holding my breath. I understand that Vegas on the whole is a slightly stronger team than the Canadians, in part because of their decor. That being said, Carey Price is a better goaltender than Fleury is. And Fleury is up a lot of rebounds, and that's how you beat him. And the Canadians are good at getting those garbage goals. Guys like Perry and Gallagher and Armia, and even guys like Lehkonen. So the Canadians have a chance to win this, but if they don't win, I think I'll be okay with it because I understand why.
If they don't win, I'm moving into the Northwest Territories and becoming a professional kayaker. You guys can hear me, right? Like, I feel like every time I'm talking, Eric or Shaun, your screen is highlighted, but maybe I'm just on the wrong view here or something like that. Okay.
Yours is highlighted when you're talking.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah, I hear you every time.
Okay. All right, boys. So what about, look, the great starts twice in a row. The difference, as we all know, is that this time it yielded a goal and then another goal for the Canadians. When it comes to beyond that, are there any deeper concerns about the way things are going for the last two periods in both games? But we can talk specifically about the last one. I just feel like this idea of icing the puck when you have a lead of a goal or two goals, especially when you're struggling with set plays off faceoffs the way that they are, I really, really don't like it. I know I'm nitpicking here. I know that they won, and now I'm talking about the way that they win, but that's me. That's the kind of fan that I am. I don't like it. I don't like the feeling of sitting there with sort of doing this while you're watching another icing go down the ice and hoping that you can get a good matchup and hoping they don't lose the face-off and hoping that this one's not going to go to overtime. For the love of God, please no. Am I being too choosy here? Should I just shut my mouth and accept the W? Or can I hope for a life in which the Canadians are not constantly icing the puck in the third period while protecting a 1 or 2 goal lead?
I would like the Canadians to play a little more aggressive when they have the lead in the third period and not be icing the puck. Now, there is this growing narrative that the Canadians lose a lot of faceoffs and have in this series, but yesterday they were 60-40 on faceoffs. So they did relatively well. They just lost, some key faceoffs in their defensive zone.
Again.
But when I watch that game as a whole, I guess the red flag for me is they're giving up a lot of quality scoring chances, just like they did to the Leafs. And so it does fall on Carey Price. And if Carey Price doesn't have a good look and there's a lot of traffic in front of him, we've seen that he has struggled like every other goalie on the planet to stop the puck. I think it's a combination of things. And I would like to see the Canadians sort of maintain an aggressive style of play. But, man, Vegas comes at you. And they are tough and they are aggressive, Shaun.
True. And it seems, based on Mark Stone's answer before game 2, that maybe Chandler Stevens is going to be gone for a little bit in this series for more than just a game. But I mean, not like he's had a massive impact. But I will say to this that I do think they're playing with a good amount of danger, knowing that, again, that they're doing a phenomenal job of completely neutralizing Vegas's top 6, like they did against Toronto, with the exception of the Nylander, totally muted anybody with a scoring touch in Winnipeg. And now, kind of 2 games in, we're seeing another version of this Canadiens team that just says, you know what? You're going to beat me with your bottom 6. Let's see how you do with that. And we know, Conor, we spent so much time this regular season when the Canadiens were really bad, right? And we're like, well, how do teams beat Montreal? They dump the puck in, they forecheck aggressively and force these turnovers. Shea Weber, Ben Sherratt, Joel Edmondson, John Merrill, they're all the same. They're not fast enough. And they get the support down low for breakouts, but it's suffocating because everybody knows how to do it. So when you're kind of, heavy-footed, you're not moving around. What do you have to do? Get the puck out as soon as you can, because you don't want to be hemmed in, and it's biting them. It is a bit of a red flag, and I do feel for Dominic Ducharme and Alex Burrows and everybody else on that bench, because it's a failure of fundamentals. When you're taught hockey, defensive zone faceoffs, more often than not, as a winger, left, right side, your job is to get to the point, immediately cover that point shot. And Alex Pietrangelo is killing you. Shea Theodore's killing you. Well, he killed you in game 1. But that has to be unnerving for the coaching staff.
It truly is one of the first fundamentals you learn when playing organized hockey, not even at a high level, Yeah,
that was league style, brother.
But yeah, and it's one of those things too. I remember being a little kid and being like, okay, all right, this is a concept I can grasp. I play on the wing. It's my job to go get that guy. I obviously realize it's a more nuanced concept than that at this level, and I'm not trying to suggest that these guys don't know that or anything like that, but it is kind of a funny thing.
Imagine Toffoli's like, oh, man, you're right. I totally forgot.
Like on the post game, you get like the Montreal equivalent of Adrian Dater on that Nathan McKinnon call last week. Like, hey, Paulie, I don't know if you know this, but your guy off the draw is the left point guy. You're supposed to, if you lose the faceoff, you're supposed to go to him. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Stu Cowan or whatever. All right. So,
Connor, just really quick about the Canadiens D. I just want a hat tip to Ben Sherratt. I know Shaun hasn't been totally on board. I'll say this about Ben Sherratt. There have been some instances and moments where he hasn't, been terrific. But on the whole, I absolutely love his engagement level. And these are the kinds of guys that help you win in the playoffs. Guys who are totally, fully committed. This guy, Sherratt, is made of seriously stern stuff. I love him.
Yeah, when you're within arm's length, absolutely. Absolutely. When you're within arm's length of Ben Sherratt, he hits the hurt. He protects his goalie. You want to get into Carey Price when he puts his trapper on the puck to freeze it. You want to get in there a little bit. Be prepared. Be prepared, because he's going to get you. And that's all I'm going to say about Ben Sherratt.
That's all I have to say about that.
We've seen it. We've seen it in the last 2 games. It's in some ways, it doesn't seem like it on paper or in theory. It's not a high risk, high reward kind of game that he plays, but it is. He plays with fire, and he got burnt in game 1, and he didn't get burnt in game 2. And early on against
got burnt twice in game 1.
Yeah, and early on against the Leafs, he was getting burnt, and then later in the series against the Leafs, he stopped getting burnt and didn't really get burnt at all against Winnipeg. And then we saw him get burnt again in game 1. But to his credit, as he's done here, he bounced back with a much better game.
And speaking of, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying,
No,
speaking of credit, Armia's got 5 goals now in 13 playoff games. And last podcast I mentioned Gallagher is at 4 goals across 27 playoff games.
Yeah.
Armia, I mean, do the Canadians, based upon what they're seeing in the playoffs, and Armia gelling with that line with Stahl and Perry, do they offer Armia a new deal, or do they let him walk as they had initially likely planned for?
You know what? You're not going to change my mind on this. No, you can't do it. And I know you want to, and I know fans are going to be unhappy, but given their cap situation, given their commitments, they just cannot give him what and look, if he wants to take a discount and stay here in Montreal, by all means, but assuming he wants to get the best value he can, and somebody on the open market is going to give a guy with that size, with that package coming off the playoffs that he's having, somebody is going to give him way more money than you can afford to pay a guy who plays in your bottom 6. They already have guys in the bottom 6 that are underpaid. Unfortunately, in my view, Yoel Armia is a luxury that this team simply can't afford.
It's a 2.6 on the cap last year of his deal, right? Like in my head, I does he get a $2 million raise? And like, there's part of me listening to you says, yeah, okay, good point of view. I can see where you're coming from. And then there's the other half, the angel and the devil on either side of me here. And I'm thinking, how can I have this opinion when my opinion was wrong about the veterans on this team? Mm-hmm. And look how they embarrassed me here. Everybody's playing so well, and the veteran have really led the way. So when I see a guys who scores at the rate that he does, and I fully understand, I watch the games like you do, sometimes not in its entirety, mind you, and I see sometimes you don't see him, that he does occasionally disappear. I might be okay with paying that price because, as we were talking about earlier, you're going to have money, I think, with Jonathan Drouin's future in limbo, and you're going to move away from Thomas Tatar, and you're going to have some of this money, and maybe you should strongly consider paying a guy who scores at the rate that he scores in the playoffs, boys.
Yes, at a higher rate than Brendan Gallagher, whose $8.25 million extension is about to kick in next year. There's that money right there.
There's Drouin's money, right? Yep,
right there, the exact number. And let's not forget that Drouin is a Montreal Canadian, as far as I know. And yes. I don't imagine that it's a terrible situation for him. I mean, look, even notwithstanding whatever's going on with him, I don't know. But the Canadians are having the best run they've had, as we just said, in almost 30 years, and he has nothing to do with it. A. B. What team in their right mind wants to acquire Jonathan Drouin? All due respect, this is not about doing guys solids and all the rest of it. I don't think, the Canadians look a better team without him. So the Habs don't want him, and I don't know who else would want him. That's a weird spot.
One thing I'll say about Drouin is, and I've had my thoughts on that with respect to his play on the ice. I've been a bit critical of it, but I'll say that I've said that Josh Anderson is tough to play with. He had a good game last night, and by the way, he didn't get an assist on Byron's goal, but he's responsible for it, because he was able to neutralize Holden. But Drouin plays well with Josh Anderson. He's the one guy that makes Anderson look really effective and that Anderson can play with. But I think for Drouin, for his well-being, I mean, if he continues to play in the NHL, he's got to go to a non-traditional market where he can play his game, then go to the grocery store undisturbed, and then go home.
He already
heard
did that
for years that he's wanted out of Montreal, and I can understand why, and I sympathize with him.
Yeah, I've heard different. Yeah, I heard he loves being a Canadian. I heard that it's his life. He loves being a Montreal Canadian. But I don't know, man. It's a sad little mystery. And I hope he finds clarity and peace, internal peace, and that he can be a happy human being again in the NHL or not, whatever it is. It's beyond hockey.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but from a hockey standpoint,
you got $5.5 million that you have to deal with on the cap next year. It's just that simple.
It's such a weird situation too, where it's just like, okay, we're not going to tell you what's going on, but also don't speculate. And if you do, then you're a bad person. And
True.
It's, let's just assume this, and then also assume that if you say anything at all about it, that you are that. And I don't know.
And also, you make a great point because, those who criticized his play on the ice, including me, people are saying, oh, well, now you're a real jerk for doing that. No. The criticism for play on the ice is deserved. And that's part of being a fan. This is why sports is so engaging, because you're emotionally involved and intellectually involved. So you can separate the two. You can wish him the best off the ice, but certainly analyze his play on the ice. Those are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, we're not animal here. Like on the morning show, on this podcast, it's never personal. It's never been personal. It's always been from the viewpoint of him as a hockey player. Point final every time with the Jonathan Drouin.
I did find, and I was on the record also as having said that I felt it was a little bit too much in general, the sort of the Drouin pile-on, but that's my sort of natural inclination too, and just in life.
And you know what I'll say? I was contacted by his agent, Alan Walsh, who I know well, and he sends me a Christmas card every year, and we've chatted a number of times in person. And he said to me, "Could you go easier on him?" And he was right. He was right. I was too tough on him on social media. And I took a step back and I said, "This is a human being. You don't have to go overboard. One tweet, two tweets is fine, but excess is unattractive." So,
well, right. It becomes a bit of a dead horse situation, but be that as it may, the fact of the matter is, and this is something I take exception to, is that there's this narrative that's just been accepted about this, that Jonathan Drouin was the victim of cyberbullying, essentially, and that is what happened. And that is why he's not with the Canadians anymore, and it's the fault of these cyberbullies. I'm not saying that this is accepted widely or is completely, but I'd say there's a lot of people who basically think that that's what happened. And we don't know that to be true, do we?
Yeah.
No. At no point have we heard from Drouin. At no point have we heard from the Canadians as far as confirming or denying that is, in fact, what's occurred here. As always, and especially in a market like Montreal, there's plenty of rumors. Probably everybody's heard a story at this point. But as far as I'm concerned, those rumors are just as likely to be true as this accepted narrative that the bullying and the treatment and the media became too much for him and he couldn't take it anymore. I don't know that to be true. Either do you.
No, but you know what? Even, let's say it is true. Well, he's not the only athlete that is bullied online. You have to assume every single athlete is a target. You guys are a target because you host a morning show. You guys get texts and emails and tweets that are entirely rude. And I get a smaller sample size. I'm on the air a lot. But everybody is a target who has a public persona. The issue is, does your constitution allow you to handle it in a certain way? That's what it comes down to. None of us are at fault here.
Well, Shaun, I think when Shaun chose to pick the Leafs to sweep the Canadians in the first round,
Go ahead.
I believe that he deserves all cyberbullying. No, I'm kidding. A little bit.
When you attack my dog, that's
a little bit.
Footing.
But yeah, it went too far. Yeah. And part of it's my fault. I think I did. I egged on the mob a little bit. I made it seem like it was cool and fun. And you know why? Because I've taken so much more of it than Shaun has over the years that I wanted to tilt it over the other way a little bit.
I like the attention. I like the attention.
You know what, though?
I'm only child.
Right? Conor, you make a good point, though. As I listen to you speak, in a way, as fans, we give ourselves carte blanche, say whatever we want about anybody in sports. But maybe we can do a bit better than that. It is a moment for self-reflection. As I listen to you, I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's a recalibration or an adjustment that needs to be made, and not believe that as fans, we can say whatever we want about anybody at any time.
I love you, Eric. I said that right now at that time that I chose.
I love you more than stale caviar, which I have a lot because I never get to.
My
man.
All right, boys, here we go. It's our Fab Four for this week. Ooh. And Shaun has a tea time, so we got to get this going here.
Priorities, boys. Come on.
Is that a normal shirt or a fancy golf shirt?
Golf shirt.
By the way, can we all golf together, all three of us? That would be so much fun. That'd be super duper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that was easy. I'm getting my second vaccine on Saturday, so I'll be totally clean.
Can I choose, though, if I can have some stipulations?
Sure.
Of course.
Okay. First,
you can do whatever you want.
Don't golf with an Egyptian, number one.
I'd like it to be on a Saturday.
Yep. Yeah.
And not too early.
That sounds good to me. And you want it in Quebec or in Ontario?
Oh, and Shaun, I want you. Can you be my designated driver?
As in, like,
Let's go 50-50 on the Uber ride.
No, I think he meant he wants you to tee off for him.
What the hell am I going to do?
Driver. Isn't that what he meant?
No.
Coke Zeros all night.
Oh, are you gonna
No,
hit your own golf balls?
it just means I can drink without worrying about how much I'm drinking.
Yeah,
I thought you wanted to hit off like the tee for you, like on a par 5. He's your designated driver. I thought you were making a joke.
Who knows where the night might take us? I might let him hit off my tee later on. Depends how many White Claws I drink.
Hey,
by the way, I
don't even know what that.
I bought a
White Claw
because of you. I bought a White Claw because of you.
And
I was curious that I bought raspberry and then lime.
Uh-huh.
And, what I liked about it, it's not as sweet as the other kind of other drinks that are similarly situated. So I did like it more than those other drinks, but I still think I'm more of a bitter beer kind of guy. But thank you for the recommendation.
I don't hate bitter beers. I like them a lot more than I like an IPA, for example.
I prefer them. I prefer a bitter.
But yeah, there's some good ones. There's some great microbrews in Quebec too. Okay, but we're running out of time. Right. Top 4, Fab 4, fast food items. Oh, geez. You know what? I have not really made my list here.
Okay, so I can go first.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm excited about this. I love this because I have no impulse control. Why don't I way too much? Go ahead.
What hell's going on here? No, I don't want to. I want it to be natural. I don't want to force my way into this.
Did you want to go first now?
No. Okay, I do. I'm ready to go. You ready? Okay. Coming in at number 4.
That was good. This is so spontaneous. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mike's Hot Luke. Coming in hot. Who doesn't love a good Mike's Hot Luke Sous-Marin?
I don't agree. I don't agree that Mike's is a fast food restaurant.
It's a chain. It's a fast food chain restaurant.
I think it's good food quickly.
I'd say that any place, let me say this as arguably a hard and fast rule, but that there's no drive-through and that it's basically primarily known as a sit-down restaurant.
I agree, Sean.
Hold on. Does it not stand on equal footing to St. Hubert's?
St. Hubert's is not fast food either.
That's not fast food.
It has a drive-through. Some have drive-thrus.
As someone who just went to a St. Hubert drive-through last week and paid $40 for the 2 meals I got. First of all, I'd say the price point excludes it, and second of all, the amount of time I waited for the chicken fingies also excludes it from being fast food.
So I'm sticking with my Mike's Hot Luke. Too bad. So
okay, there you go. That's I guess.
Coming in at number 3. Let's go to the Golden Clush, the Taco Bell, and their nachos. Supreme, number 3 favorite fast food item.
That's really good. Love that. I can bathe in that.
Listen, don't hate me. They're terrible, 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 terrible people. The Chick-fil-A burger. I understand there are so many great fried burgers.
No, that's unacceptable.
Now.
I'm sorry.
Understand.
Everything tastes bitter with them. It's awful.
I don't disagree. Which
sandwich?
The crispy chicken sandwich.
The original?
Yeah, the original.
Not deluxe?
No, just the original one. I like the deluxe. I always have the deluxe, but it starts with the OG. It starts with the OG for me.
Not the spicy?
I forgot about the spicy. I forgot about the spicy one. So allow me a slight correction there. But that doesn't change the fact that my number 1 came to me immediately. When we thought about this idea, the immediacy was astounding. McDonald's French fries, my favorite menu item from any fast food joint. No controversy there. McDonald's is a legitimate fast food restaurant.
Sorry, what from McDonald's?
French fries.
The French fries.
Okay.
French fries. Yeah. It was between that and the cheese. I love their cheeseburger, but I'm going to go with the fries.
You got 5 minutes to eat those fries.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
That's right.
After that, don't touch them.
Yeah, the only fries that you eat in the car on the way you're home, because you want to make sure that you get them while they're hot. Okay, my top 4. Number 4 on my list is the Whopper. It's sloppy. It's disgusting. It's amazing. I remember at McGill, Burger King right near McGill had a 2-for-1 for Whoppers. Yeah.
Down in the Metro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a 2-for-1, and we would eat those 2. And I just love the construction of a Whopper, how it tastes and how sloppy and disgusting it is. Number 3 on my list is the Big Mac. I grew up with a Big Mac, and when I'm really hungry and I want some fast food, Big Mac never lets me down. Number 2, the chili from Wendy's. I love that chili from Wendy's. It's delicious. Sometimes you put your feet in it. Oh, it's fantastic. And number 1 on my list, same as Sean, the McDonald's French fries, made by McCain out of the Maritimes. McDonald's does the French fries the right way. And I don't understand why every other fast food joint just doesn't do the same thing. Those are my top 4.
What's your dipping preference with those fries? If you have to dip them in something, what is it?
Ketchup.
My mouth.
Ketchup.
Yeah.
Ketchup with caviar.
I don't like this. I don't like dipping my McD's fries.
No?
No, I never do.
You know what's pretty damn good? Barbecue sauce, man.
Yeah.
McDonald's barbecue sauce is delicious.
Or if
Those
you,
scientists
if
are
you
so
ask
good.
for the McChicken sauce, which they'll give you as well, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
They are.
I do like
There's
that too.
there's another name for that sauce too.
What is
You
it?
know
What?
Semen?
Mayonnaise.
Oh, is that
No,
what that
it's
is?
not mayonnaise. Doesn't it have a little extra flavor to it than,
Yeah,
than just
I
like
thought
the
it had
regular
a little
Hellman's
twist to it, a little twist.
Come on, hit us up in the comments. Is it more than just mayonnaise? I feel that it's more than just mayonnaise. I could be wrong.
Agreed.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm going all Canadian here. So I'm not crossing the border. It's been too long.
Don't you dare mention Harvey's on this list.
No, I'm just saying
Good-
I'm not getting
good
anything.
man.
Anything that I can't get here in Quebec is not on my list.
Okay.
All right. The McDonald's McDouble. It's a recent discovery of mine. It is the best McDonald's burger on the menu. It's like a cheeseburger, but better. See, next thing is going to be the Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich with what is it? The Asiago spicy chicken with bacon. Oh, mama. That's a real nice one. Okay?
Oh, mama.
Next one, McDonald's fries, the only item to make all our list. It's undeniable when you get them in that perfect spot when they're not too hot, but they're still pretty hot. It doesn't get much better than that. So salty, so perfect. And the number one item, as a Quebecois, I can't not have this. It is, and you have to think about this, that the time it takes to get this thing is the steamy hot dog all dressed.
I knew it.
In this city, there are many, many places to get them. They're always a little bit different no matter where you go. But a steamy, you go in and walk out in 30 seconds with a steamy in your hand. And it's always going to be just as good. So I got to go with the steamy. Final answer.
Way to bring it back to All Dressed, the name of the podcast. That was full circle. That was a thing of beauty. You, sir, have grace.
Should this be our last? Maybe this should be it. Maybe the circle is closed. This should be our last episode.
It was great while it lasted, everybody.
Conor McKenna, the fighter pilot who likes his hot dogs all dressed.
If the Canadians win the Stanley Cup, we have a reason for a reunion show.
We're in all seriousness, we'll do a new show after Game 3.
All right.
All right. Just in case anybody is gonna, we don't want Stefan, our number one fan, to
love you, Steph.
We love you, Stefan Howard.
Yes,
we
love you.
All right, have a great day. And
all right, oh mama.
What?
Oh mama.
What?
I love
my
that.
mama.
Oh mama. Connor's oh mama. I'm gonna start using that on the morning show with you guys. Oh mama.
Okay, I gotta go.
Baby, oh baby,
right.
and oh mama. Those are my two of my go-tos.
My
sure.
man
All right.
loves oh mama. Take
Enjoy the U.S. Open round 1 today, everybody.
Love you.